What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Before we get into it, I just want to point out something interesting that I'm sure we're all aware of at this point, but there's a golden Donald Trump statue outside the Capitol building holding Bitcoin. I don't think it's made of gold, but I did look into it a little bit. I think it's just like gold colored, right? That'd be a lot of gold. It's a 12-foot tall statue. Um, and if it's there to stay, I wonder if it's there to stay or if it was just presented there on that day and it's going to be moved later. Um, the artist said they had a hard time forming it, and you can tell, right? Because that doesn't look like Donald Trump. That looks like Peter Griffin. Looks kind of like what's his name, John Madden. Like I don't know. It doesn't look like Donald Trump. I can hear I can hear it coming from the photo here. But I think this sends a message to the people of America and the world that Donald Trump is the Bitcoin president, man. He's the one that the very first president of the United States that made a stance on crypto in a very positive light, and I think that could have something to do with why we're pumping yesterday, but likely the reason why we pumped, the reason why we're at 117.2K right now on the 18th of September, likely that's because the news of the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates for the first time since November of last year in about 10 months. I think the news was received positively, right? If you watched my Bitcoin video yesterday, we were calling for a little bit of a dump coming out of that FOMC meeting. But if you watch the very next video I made, which the Bitcoin video I made had like 1,000 views, the next video I made had a lot more than that, like 10 times that. So I'm assuming that you guys had to have seen it. But in the title, I even posted I was wrong because we did an analysis on the FOMC meetings throughout this whole year, and every single announcement that we've had, we actually pumped right out of that announcement. So I hope a lot of you were prepared. I hope a lot of you saw that video. It was intended to, right after that Bitcoin video, it was intended for people to see it, hopefully. Hope you guys were prepared for this pump, right? If not, oops, sometimes you make that mistake. Sometimes you expect something to happen and it doesn't happen. Understand, you guys, I'm not anticipating we go below this low. I think that is it. I don't think that we go below that low, at least not as of now. If we're looking at this on a daily time frame, before I put my foot in my mouth, let me just see. Let me double check here. High to low. I mean, maybe we could. When you go to the golden ratio, oftentimes enough, you do find support at the 0.5 or the 382. So I suppose it is possible to go below that low, but I'm not necessarily calling for that now. Let's look at the indicators on the chart. Let's see what we're coming up with, okay? It's very possible that we do continue to go higher because, again, I said this a couple times after the video as well yesterday. Maybe I said it in the video. I can't remember. But whenever you consolidate like this, whenever you do this kind of consolidation, I would think that you push higher to the 786, 886, that you don't stop in the golden ratio, right? It's like you've already stopped at the golden ratio here for a week. So you're going to stop here now. I think you're going to go higher. If you were to reject down, I think you would have taken the last 3 days to do it. But I really think that what this was a move up. You consolidated, and now you're going to get another move up, very similar to this, which will take you to 120K or beyond. We look at our liquidation levels over the past 30 days. Shorts have been decimated, okay? We're going to get a shakeout. We're going to get a move down that shakes people's confidence in their longs, builds confidence in their shorts, but there's still like $4.5 billion in shorts. $121 billion, let's say $121,000 is where we clear out $4.2 billion worth of shorts. So right there, 121K. That's right there at that 786 to 886 area. It's the perfect zone. It makes sense. And if we draw lines right there, let's just see. Looking at this here, from the 786 to the 886, we delete this. We delete the chicken scratch so we're not distracted. You can see this is where we had prior resistance points. It's totally acceptable that we would go right to that area. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I even wonder here, let's just see. High to low. Do we have an extension that lines up there? 2272, kind of. Not really. Nothing. I mean, we're respecting it, it looks like. Maybe we go right up to that 2272. I don't know. But I would expect at this point in time that we do continue to rally higher. Let's look at the short-term time frames and see if that agrees. 1 hour time frame here, looking at this. Well, the MACD is going. The MACD is building bullish momentum at the moment. I actually really do like this look a lot. Whenever you come down and then you bounce kind of right where your oscillators are touching tips more or less, or they're getting close enough to each other and you bounce like that, that's a really good look typically. It tends to that tends to mean that you're trending bullishly like you did it here. You cross barely there and you continue to move up. It's normally a really good thing. Stochastics bouncing off the 50 going into the stochastics is good, or going into the overbought zone is good as well. And the RSI continuously staying up above the 50 here, getting overbought, not getting oversold. We like to see it. All in all, it's the 1 hour time frame, so it's not the most significant time frame, but things look good. They look like they want to continue going higher. If from here at 117.5K, we were to see prices drop back down to 116K, everything's fine. We could drop down to 116K. Do it. I dare you, but probably not. I bet we keep moving up, honestly. Looking at the 4 hour time frame here, right, it looks like we've just broken out of this range. I doubt that we're just going to give it back now. Where's the volume? Do we have volume? We better have volume. Load it up, volume. Let's go. It's not loading. That's okay. We don't need it. The MACD looks very bullish. Absolutely. I mean, the oscillator's in a very bullish trajectory. You're building bullish momentum. It's not the most bullish that it's ever been, but I mean, you're kind of neutral, and it is the 4 hour time frame, but you look good. Stochastics look very bullish. The RSI is immaculate. This is exactly the kind of behavior you want to see. I would expect that we get into the overbought zone. I truly do expect that we're moving up to that 120K and beyond area. I think that's what's going to happen here. We'll see, though. You've just been very tenacious, right? You've been moving up, then moving sideways, shaking people out with a little bit of volatility, moving up, moving sideways, shaking people out with a little volatility, and then moving up some more. We're in the next phase of this moving upness, right? And I think let's just see if we can compare it to what we've seen before, from a low here to a high there. We take a low right here to a high right here. If we were to put this at the low and put this at the low as well, I mean, that's 120K. That's 121K. I don't know. It makes sense, right? That's where our 786, 886 area is. That's where all these longs get liquidated. It makes a lot of sense. How are the shorts doing? Wow. Over the past 24 hours. Now, that's not a lot of shorts. The longs clearly have it. I mean, almost $4 billion in longs is a lot. But the fact that there's $2.6 billion in shorts still, people are shorting on the way up. You guys know how we love that, right? If you're going to short on the way up, we're going to keep going, man. We're going to eat your shorts. It's inevitable. We're going to Bart Simpson you. We're going to eat your shorts. You're like, the Bears are like Bart Simpson saying, "Eat my shorts," but the Bulls are serious about it. We're going to eat them. We're a bull that is hungry. We are the bulls that are hungry for shorts, man. The RSI looks very bullish. The daily RSI looks incredibly bullish. Looks like we want to get into the overbought zone. I want to take a moment here and just draw some circles on the last few times that we've been overbought, right? When we hadn't been overbought for a little while, we finally got overbought. When we hadn't been overbought for a little while, and we finally got overbought. This is a farce. This is a rejection off the overbought zone. We're not going to hold true to that, okay? So here, whenever you hadn't been overbought for a little while, you finally got overbought. What happened? That was the beginning, at 92.9K there, that was the beginning of a move that took you all the way up to 112K. You finally hadn't been overbought in a while. You consolidated. What happened whenever you did get overbought? That was whenever you moved from about 109K all the way up to about 123K. 109K to 123K. When you moved from 185K all the way up to 112K. You understand what I'm saying here? I wouldn't be surprised in the least if this movement was even bigger than the prior movements. If we saw an even larger move over time. Now, does that mean we're going to teleport tomorrow there? No, but we've got a lot of time left in this month. It's the 18th. We got about 12 days left in this month, you guys. We could do a lot of damage to the upside. We could very well be at new all-time highs by the end of this month, you guys. It's going to be, things are going to be picking up. Rest in peace, RIP shorts. You're going to be boned. Stochastics are bullish as hell. RSI is about to get there. MACD is crossing above the zero. The last time we crossed above the zero, went from 85K to 112K. All the signs all at once, they're all lining up, you guys. Bullish behavior, okay? We love to see it. And if we're looking at the weekly time frame here, I want to look at one more thing on the daily as well, but weekly bouncing off the 50, bouncing off the 50 on the RSI, and then the MACD just looks great. The MACD is immaculate. There's really not too much to go off of here. Oscillators are well above the zero. You look like you're about to cross up and get green again. I mean, you're not crossing right now, but with this movement, this momentum upwards, you will in a matter of no time at all. Very convinced that we're going higher. We might not even stop at. I mean, maybe we stop at 120 to 122k momentarily, but we're going to keep moving up. It might not be too dramatic of a stop. Don't get your hopes up for any kind of retracement there. If it's 117.5k now, and you're like, I'll just wait. If it really does go to 120 or 122, I'll just wait for it to pull back from there. It might just consolidate there. It might not pull back. Don't miss out. I think it's time to get in. It's time to nut up or shut up if you're looking to get involved in this crypto market here. But looking at the ribbons. Looking at the ribbons, that's a beautiful reaction. That's a perfect reaction. We are getting separation the exact way that we were hoping for earlier this week. We were talking about not coming back down into this ribbon. You had to actually push out of it, so that's good to see. You look at the daily time frame here. We're finally, I think, getting this thing to cross up. If we're looking at it, yes, we are. Victory, my friends. I feel like that scene in what's that movie called? Entourage, the new one where he's like, victory. Right here, this is our victory moment. You guys, we are crossing above the zero, or we're crossing the ribbons to the bullish effect, and might as well be crossing above the zero. We had a false cross down, adding to the bullish. When you have a false cross, you guys, you know it's a false cross because as soon as you crossed, that was your low. As soon as you crossed, that was your low. You were moving down beforehand, sure, but as soon as you crossed, that was your low, and then instantly kept moving up. Got the bullish cross to confirm it, that it was a false cross. You're moving up. You're moving up. What happened the last time we had a bullish cross on the daily ribbon? Well, we went from this cross here, we were at about 94k, and we went all the way up to 112k, and we really didn't stop. We didn't get a negative cross down until we saw new all-time highs, 94k, all the way up to 124k. You guys, we're going to be moving up to new all-time highs soon. Very, very soon. Mark my words. Anybody bearish on the markets right now, I don't know what we're not living in the same reality, right? But that's kind of normal these days for whatever reason. People just see what they want to believe. Hit the like button, subscribe before I get too deep into other things. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.